Hey guys, this is the video for function evaluation. There will be 2 worksheets for you to do. I will let you know at the end of the video which problems I want you to do. So let's get started. Okay, when you evaluate a function, if you'll notice we have 4 functions here, and all of these functions are in function notation. This one says f of x, g of x, h of x, m of x. All of these are the same as y. So this is y equals 3x minus 4. But we give them each one a different name so that we know which function to use with each problem. Okay, so let's take a look at number 1. This one says evaluate for f of negative 1. Well, when you evaluate f of negative 1, that simply means take that negative 1 and you take this f of x function and you replace the x with negative 1. So in this situation, it would be 3 times negative 1 minus 4. So as you can see, we replace the x with negative 1. Well, then 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 minus 4. Because 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 minus 4. And negative 3 minus 4 would equal negative 7. So that is your final answer. Okay? The next one says g of negative 1. So we're going to do the same thing, but you have to be very careful when you have a negative and you're using, if you notice, g of x is a quadratic function. So we would take this negative 1 and put it in place of the x, so negative 1 squared minus 9. Now negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. If you put that in a calculator and you do not use those parentheses, you're going to get a negative 1. So it's very important, if you're raising a negative number to a power, that you put it in parentheses when using a graphing calculator. Otherwise, you're going to get the wrong answer. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, so we have negative 1 squared, which is 1, minus 9, final answer, negative 8. Okay, you would do the same thing. This one, you'd put a negative 1 in place of the h, negative 1 in place of the m. We're going to go ahead and this m, actually I said in place of the h, I meant in place of the x. Same thing here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do number 4 because it has 2 x's, and I want you to know that everywhere you see an x, you're going to put a negative 1. So we would have the negative 1 squared, because we're using this m of x, minus 2 times negative 1 plus 3. Okay? Negative 1 squared is 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 would be plus 2. And then plus 3 here at the end. 1 plus 2 plus 3. Final answer is 6. Okay, so I think you get what's happening here with 1 through 8. So I want you to do all of those. Okay, let's look at number 9. On number 9, we have f of 2 plus h of negative 5. Okay, so what you would do is you would put a 2 in the f of x and a negative 5 in the h of x, and then you're going to add those two together. So f of 2, I'm going to take the f of x, and I'm going to put it 2 in place of my x, so 3 times 2 minus 4. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 4 would be 2. So this is your f of 2. Then you're going to go to your h of x, which is right here, and you're going to put a negative 5 in that one. So h of negative 5 would be 10 minus 2 times negative 5. So that's going to be 10. Negative 2 times negative 5 would be plus 10, which equals 20. So f of 2 plus h of negative 5 would be taking this 2, because this is f of 2, and adding this 20, because this is h of negative 5. So 2 plus 20 is 22. Okay? Now the next one we're subtracting. Now you have to be very careful when you subtract, because you're going to have to distribute a negative. So we're going to do g of 3. G of 3, take this g of x, 3 squared minus 9. 3 squared is 9. I'm going to go ahead and put that in parentheses. So 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. Okay? Then we're going to put a 4 in the m of x. So m of 4 equals 4 squared minus 2 times 4 plus 3. 4 squared is 16, minus 2 times 4, that would be 8. So 16 minus 8 is 8, plus 3 would be 11. Okay? Now, this says g of 3 minus m of 4. Okay, so that is 0 minus 11. 0 minus 11 would be a negative 11. Okay, I'm going to skip on down to number 13, but 11, 12, and 13 are done the same way. Okay, the way this reads right here, this is g of m of negative 2. So what I do, I'm going to cover this up for a minute. I'm going to take care of m of negative 2 first. I'm going to put a negative 2 in the m of x. So I'll do that first. Very careful to put that in parentheses, especially if I'm using a calculator. Okay. Negative 2 squared would be positive 4. And this is also positive 4 here. So we have 4 plus 4 plus 3. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay? Then, whatever I get here, I'm going to put it in the g. So I take this 11 and I do g of 11, because this is g of m of negative 2. Well, we found that m of negative 2 is 11, and then I put that in the g of x. So that's going to be 11 squared minus 9. So that's 121 minus 9. 121 minus 9. Let me think. Can't do it in my head. Hang on. $112. That's your final answer. Okay. And then we have f of x plus m of x. F of x. Now, if you notice here, we don't have numbers we're plugging in. We're taking the literal function of f of x and adding it to the literal function of m of x. So up here, you notice that f of x is 3x minus 4. And then we're adding to that m of x, which is x squared minus 2x plus 3. Okay, then we're going to combine like terms. Okay, and I'm going to start here with this x squared first. So that took care of that one. Then these are like terms. 3x minus 2x would be positive 1x. And then negative 4 plus 3 would be minus 1. That's your final answer. Okay, the next one, it's the same concept except for this minus. You have to be very careful anytime you subtract. Sometimes that's one of the biggest mistakes that's made. So we're going to take the g of x, which is x squared minus 9, minus m of x. Well, we're subtracting all of this. So this negative has to be distributed to each part of this. So I have to multiply that by each one of those. So this is actually x squared minus 9 minus x squared plus 2x, because a negative times a negative is a positive, and then minus 3. Okay, then we're going to combine like terms like we did in the previous problem. So this negative x squared and that positive x squared, those cancel. And then we have this 2x, and then negative 9 minus 3 is negative 12. That's your final answer. Okay, number 16. This is f of x times h of x. So that would be 3x minus 4 times h of x, which is 10 minus 2x. Okay, that problem is going to take some room. So what I'm going to do is put it on the dry erase board. Okay, we have 3x minus 4 multiplied by 10 minus 2x. Okay, there's two methods you could use here. You can either use the FOIL method, which is first, outside, inside, last, or you can use the box method. I'm going to go over both, and then you can choose which one you would rather use. Okay, so first I'm going to do FOIL. 3x times 10 would be 30x. Okay, then we have 3x times negative 2x would be negative 6x squared. Okay, then we have negative 4 times 10, that's negative 40. And then finally we have negative 4 times negative 2x. That will be a positive 8x. Okay, so then after we do that, we're going to combine like terms. And I'm going to start with the biggest exponent and work my way down. So we have a negative 6x squared. These two are like terms. 30x plus 8x would be 38x. And then finally we have that minus 40 at the end. And that is your final answer. Now, some people prefer the box method. So I'm going to do this one. Now you can put this one along the top and this one along the side, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. Okay, so then we take this 3x times this 10, which would be 30x, and negative 4 times 10 would be negative 40, and 3x times negative 2 would be my negative 6x squared, and then finally negative 2x times negative 4 would be positive 8x. Okay, then you combine like terms. I'm going to start with this one first because it's my biggest exponent. If you notice, these are my two like terms. So 30x plus 8x would be 38x. And then finally, that minus 40. So we got the same thing, two different methods. Okay, you don't have to write both of those down. Choose which one you like better. And this was number 16. Okay. All right, number 17. This one says f, and it has a little circle there of h of x. Okay, the way this reads is f of h of x, and it is the same as f of h of x. Okay, we still don't have a number that we're plugging in. So in this situation, we're working with the f function and the h function. Well, the f function is is 3x minus 4. And the h function is 10 minus 2x. Okay, so what we're doing, if we have f of h of x, we are taking this entire function, this h of x, and we're plugging it in for this x right there. Okay, so we would have our 3 in place of the x. I'm putting this entire function, which is 10 minus 2x minus 4. So we have our 3x minus 4, but for the x, we put the h of x. Okay? Then we have to simplify this. So the first thing I would do, this 3 has to be multiplied by everything in the parentheses. So I'm going to distribute this 3 to both of these terms. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6x. And then this negative 4 just drops down. Okay, then I'm going to combine like terms, but I'm going to put this x term first. So negative 6x, and 30 minus 4 would be 26. And that's your final answer. Okay, so number 18. We have f of g of x. Now, this one's using the f function. It still continues to use this one, but instead of h of x, we are using g of x. So, same thing, we're taking this entire function and we're plugging it in for that x right there, this whole thing for that. Okay, so we have our 3. In place of the x, we're putting x squared minus 9, and then minus 4. Okay, so I have to distribute this 3 to both of these. This is 3x squared. 3 times negative 9 would be negative 27 minus 4. Then we combine like terms. This is 3x squared. Negative 27 times or plus negative 4 would be negative 31. And that is your final answer. Okay, go ahead and just complete this entire worksheet. I was going to let you skip some of them, but I think what I'll do is let you skip some of them on the review. When you get this done, I'm going to end this video for now, and I will make another video for the evaluating functions review.